up, witches? It's me and Pie Wacket here with another unboxing. And today we have another Lord of the Rings deck, but it's the Lord of the Rings Oracle. Where are you going? Uh-oh, I think you just saw some birds outside. I'm in trouble now. So I did the Lord of the Rings Tarot the other day. I have had this one since sometime in the 90s. Oh, goodness, he just burped. Unbearably cute. And this was a gift from a friend of mine, and she bought it used, ran into it someplace and knew my interests and got me this amazing oracle. Lord of the Rings Oracle, a mystical pack with Middle-earth cards, map, and ring for divination and revelation by Terry Donaldson, an official Tolkien Enterprises gift set product. So Tolkien's Legacy, this is an official product of Tolkien's Legacy. Lord of the Rings, the realm of Middle-earth lies within each of us. So cast the gold ring over the map and foretell the future through the cards. The Lord of the Rings Oracle is a new and extraordinary divinatory system based on the best-selling Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, a story laden with mysterious magic. So you see this wonderful, it's published by Godsfield, a Godsfield book. Well, and then we have this nice little ribbon closure on the side, this nice box. I had never seen, at the time I got this, I didn't have anything that had, like, you know, this kind of box. Okay, I'm trying to work around Pie here. We'll see how this goes. But you can see in this set we have a deck of cards. We have the One Ring, and as I was looking at I had to go in and put these in order because they were not, and reading through the booklet a little bit, and it talked about this being on a thread. It was never on a thread when I had it, so I added a ribbon. And then we have a book, and then we have a map. So as you can see, my usual incense and water and stuff is not here because I'm going to need that room for the map. Let's take a look at that. We may actually kind of go to the book first this time because it's a different and interesting deck. So here we have a map of Middle-earth, and we've got around the edge all of these places: Mirkwood, Mount Doom, Rivendell, Lothlorien, Minas Tirith, Mordor, Gondor, Mirkwood, Mount Doom, Rivendell, Lothlorien, 2 Lothloriens, Minas Tirith, Mordor, Gondor. Okay, so it just goes all these places around the edge, and then we've got them on the map: Caradhras, Rivendell. And see, that's not where, no, that's not where things are. Rivendell is up further north than Caradhras, and Caradhras is right above the Mines of Moria, because that's the pass they try to go through, and then they decide they need to go through the mines because they can't get over the pass. So, and Bridge of Khazad-dûm is way down here, but it should be up by the Mines of Moria. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Dunharrow, Shelob's Lair, Mount Doom. All right, that looks okay. The realm of Lothlorien is like, okay, Bridge of Khazad-dûm. I mean, I don't know. I just know that Caradhras is certainly in the wrong place compared to Rivendell. So I'm not going to get any more fussy about it. Let's put the map away until we figure out what we're supposed to do with it, okay? What do you think, Pie? I think we should just put it away. That's what I think. Let's put the ring out there so you get this nice chunky ring. What do you think of that? It's got runes on it, carved in. I don't know if those runes say anything. That might be something I'd like to do. And then I'll be very disappointed if they don't, of course. And then let's dump. Yeah. All right. And we'll set this aside and let's get into the cards. Pie, you are slipping. Get your little butt up there. There. You just stay up there. All right. Let's take a look. These are in a strange order. It's kind of like they've got all the places together and then they've got people together. Pardon me, let me move my microphone a little bit. I got my sound issues straightened out the last 2 videos. I think I moved the microphone once and I hit the gain and yikes. So hopefully sound is not as obnoxious today. So we have the Shire, Mount Doom, the Forest of Mirkwood, with the white stag, realm of Lothlorien. And these are just clearly settings. Here's the Mines of Moria. Not anything going on here, just straight up settings. Misty Mountains. The Great Sea. Do you want down, baby? Don't jump. Do you want down, baby? Okay. The Great Sea. Ouch. The Great River Anduin. The Grey Havens. The Dead Marshes. Shelob's Lair. The City of Minas Tirith. Helm's Deep. And now we're going to like groups of people. We have the Rohirrim, the Black Riders, the Eye of Sauron. So interesting to see how that has been interpreted by artists over the years, you know. Nobody did it like Alan Lee and John Howe, though. The Seven Palantiri. And they've got them, they make them look like just like eyeballs. Remember that the Palantiri were the seeing stones that were belonged to the, you know, the nobles of Numenor, and they were placed all through Middle Earth so they could communicate with each other. The Mirror of Galadriel. So we had kind of a couple groups of people, and now we're into some objects. Alrighty. The Staff of Gandalf. The Sword of Aragorn. Rose Gamgee and Belladonna Took, the mothers. The Lady Eowyn. Saruman the false counselor. Gollum the unloved child. That is kind of tragic. Sorry, turn my alarm off. Oh my goodness. And that means it's 2 o'clock. What the hell? Gollum. The White Tree. Old Man Willow from The Hobbit. No, Old Man Willow is from the Lord of the Rings. Beorn the Shapeshifter, okay, Shape Changer. Okay, he is from The Hobbit. Interestingly, there is no Tom Bombadil. You know, if you're going to reach back and grab somebody from The Hobbit like Beorn, why would you not include somebody as prominent as Tom Bombadil from the actual Lord of the Rings? But anyhow, the wolves, the orcs, the elves, the hobbits, and you know, we just kind of see them in their natural habitat. These cards don't appear to be, you know, I realize I'm looking at them thinking about the story rather than thinking about divination. And I mean, we see the elves just kind of greeting each other or gathering together. Same thing with the hobbits. We see them interacting, you know, in their natural habitat, but I don't really see something going on in the picture that is like an event. The Corsairs. The Ghost Army of Dunharrow. The Eagles. The Ents. The Blessed Realms. I think that's the Grey Havens. No, because the Grey Havens has a card too. The 3 Rings of the Elves. The 7 Rings of the Dwarves. The 9 Rings that were made for mortal men. And the Great Ring. So we have 40 cards, and you know, this doesn't look like a deck that you could just spread out and read intuitively. You certainly would have to have the background knowledge of Lord of the Rings and what each of these things, you know, what part each of these things plays in the stories to get meaning from it intuitively. Where are you going, baby? Nope, back up here. Do you want to go down? Do you want to get down? All right. Nope, he's settling in. Okay. Here. I don't want to deprive you of this precious baby. Okay, let's look at the book. This is copyright 1998, and it says by Sterling Publishing Company. But on the box, it said Godsfield Press. Published by Sterling Publishing Company. Copyright Godsfield Press. Text by Terry Donaldson. Illustrations by Alice Englander. Oh my goodness. Okay. Settle in, little butt. All right. Introduction to the Great Oracle. The Oracle consists of 3 parts: the ring itself, the map, and the cards. Each section may be used independently or in conjunction with each other in order to cast light upon the events of the past, present, and future. The Great Ring is the part of the Oracle to be used as a pendulum for specific yes and no questions. The map shows the various realms in which the action occurs throughout The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, shows some of the more important places, cities, forests, mountain ranges, coastlines through which the participants move as the story unfolds. But the cards show those locations too. The landscapes represent the archetypal scenarios through which each of us pass at some point in our lives, although we all travel in different ways. You're stuck. The cards show characters, creatures, races, various beings, and some locations. These can be thought of as the filters through which we interact with the influences that life's journey brings. Okay, so this is pretty complicated. First thing to do is open the map and spread it across a flat surface, such as a table. What you're looking at is a representation of your entire life. All that has happened in the past, all that's occurring in present time, anything that could possibly lie on the road ahead is contained here in symbolic form. Then you take out the cards, spread them across the surface of the map. We're looking at decisions, various characters. These things are archetypal and universal. Thirdly, you may now take out the Great Ring and thread it onto a cord of your choice. There wasn't a cord with it. You'll be able to use this by casting it across the surface of the map and as a very powerful pendulum. So, how the Oracle works. You cast the Great Ring over the surface of the map. Wherever it falls will give you a hint of whatever the answer may be. Okay, hold on a second here. Let me stop that noise and let me put this baby boy down on the floor because he's getting antsy. You need to go have a snackin'? You need to have a snackin'? Okay, bye whackin'. Okay, bye-bye. Guarantee you he's going to want up here in another minute or two. All right. So you cast the Great Ring. The laying out of the cards in any of the recommended patterns or spreads will give you the further information you may need to make up your mind. Use of the Great Ring on its thread will act as a pendulum. Techniques involved in each of these processes will be straightforward and easy to master. Knowledge is power. Blind fate is the child of ignorance. What's going on here? Okay. All right. Through understanding ourselves more fully, we may begin to tap into the conscious powers of universal mind, free our awareness. This oracle has spiraled into the form it has taken as a means to this end. All right. The universal images that Professor Tolkien used in his stories each represent something about ourselves, possibly as yet undiscovered. All of these people, characters, players, good and bad, are within us. When we attempt to suppress our differing selves, we're left with resistance. This is self-defeating as we become that which we resist. So it says lay out the cards in given spreads. The Great Ring goes into detail about that, how to use the ring on its own as a pendulum. Now, pendulums, I think I'm going to do a separate thing on pendulums. I never use them much because they tend to just hang limp for me because I can control. Anyway, you program your pendulum the way you want it to go. What means yes and no to you? What means maybe? For me, up and down means yes. Side to side means no. In a circle, going left means probably not. In a circle, going right means probably. Okay, so yeah, I know a lot of people use, some people use up and down as a yes and a circle for a no. And that's, classic binary imagery of the 1 and the 0. The 1 is positive, the 0 is negative. So you can use it that way. I just find intuitively something going like this says So when you get your pendulum, make sure that you tell it what you want it to do. And what I will do is hold the thing and say show me yes, and I will hold in my mind this is what means yes until it goes that way. Show me no, show me probably not, until it's so that way you're programming your pendulum. All right, how to use the ring with the map. Each place on the map represents a different point in life's experience. And so they're talking about casting the ring over the map. You can drop or cast it. Where it lands gives you the answer to whatever question you have in mind. Interesting. How to use the ring with the cards. Select a card that you feel epitomizes the situation in your life. Ask as you ask your questions. And then you ask the questions with the pendulum over that. Then we have the map. Then we have how the map places are used with the ring, how the map places are used with the cards. Draw upon more cards in the same way. You can select a particular place on the map which seems to stand out. May not be for any discernible reason. Yeah, okay. Then we have the cards. All right. Cards contain some of the most important scenes from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. There are 40 in all, this number having its own parallels in other various traditions. Moses spent 40 years in the desert in preparation for his mission, then 40 days and 40 nights on Mount Tabor with God. Jesus fasted in the wilderness for the same duration of time before overcoming the 3 temptations of Satan. In Mahayana and Tibetan Buddhism, Hinduism, and the Talmudic tradition of the Kabbalah, we also find this number recurring. Interesting. Cards enable us to enter the realm of Middle Earth. All right, let's do... How are we going to do this? What are we going to do about this? I have not lit a charcoal because I had to get it out of the way. Let's start with the map and see if maybe we can cast the ring even with it being on its thread. Sorry, I'm looking for where my little boy is because any move I make on this rolly chair, I got to know where he is. So I don't want to wear him little footies. Still got to move some things out of the way. Okay, here is the map. And I'm going to take this ring and just kind of let it fall. I mean, it just kind of falls straight, right? So if you cast it over the map, I mean, maybe let it roll. Ah, there we go. So we're closer to Mirkwood than Lothlorien. So let's go to Mirkwood first. That's all I'm going to do with this map. And then, so now we have to find Mirkwood and look it up. So, I mean, there's a card for Mirkwood, right? Yes, the Forest of Mirkwood. So, using the map, I guess, just gives you another port of entry to the cards. I'm not sure. I'm going to turn myself right way around here. Okay, that's better. Mirkwood. We enter the forest by a path which takes us from the bright sunny day outside into a realm of darkness. The sound of birdsong is replaced by the constant humming of forest creatures. Now remember that Mirkwood plays a part in The Hobbit, but not in Lord of the Rings. Legolas comes from Mirkwood, but we don't ever visit Mirkwood in Lord of the Rings. Our nostrils detect the dampness of vegetation. It is as if time stands still. A dark, murky river runs across our pathway, but the water moves quickly, almost devoid of natural movement. From the edge of the forest, a white hart appears. One of my totems appears to peer out through the trees. We are overwhelmed by the sense of being watched. And if you wonder why hart is a totem for me, it's my last name. Okay, esoteric meaning. The path ahead is the only certain way of arriving at our destination. Well, duh. Our actions are being observed and evaluated. A period of traveling through darkness lies before us, and we know only some of the potential danger ahead of us. Well, there's a ringer. We are to drink and eat nothing from the forest. We may lose our minds or become sick if we disregard the warnings of our guides. So that's the esoteric meaning. That we need to stick to the path, that there's a period of darkness to come, that we need to keep moving forward, that we need to drink or eat nothing there. So watch what we consume of the darkness. Doom scrolling, reading news, worst of all, watching news. So this is talking about eat or drink nothing going through this darkness. Don't consume it. Don't take it on as real and as nourishment, for God's sakes, we may lose our minds or become sick. if we disregard the, okay. So personal indications, by the way, here's the back of the cards. Personal indications, the need to remain focused on one's objective and avoid being distracted, avoiding hasty moves that render it impossible to retrace steps. The need to follow guidelines of those with an experience of this path. Adventurism is out of place. Pretty much what I just said. And then there are reversed meanings as well. So the reversed meaning of this would talk about acting hastily in disregard of any inherent dangers, overconfidence, possible entrapment, lack of any systematic approach, failing to achieve primary purpose, becoming sidetracked, the need to reevaluate one's most important aims, think in terms of following traditional methods, look at the example of others, lack of concern regarding personal barriers, lack of concentration toward objectives. So just the opposite of, disregarding all these things and plunging ahead into danger and consuming and everything. That's the reversed meaning. All right, let's shuffle these and take 3. And I'm going to ask about going through this period of darkness and what we have to do in order to thrive. Shuffle very easily. They are kind of heavier cardstock, and they've got that plastic coating that makes them stick. But since there are only 40 of them, it's a pretty easy shuffle. And I'm going to, let's see, where did I put my Fire of Azrael? Even though I don't have a charcoal burning, well, there's 2. We're going to ask allies and ancestors, guides and guardians, to come on in, be with us here. I offer you water. I offer you the scent of the Fire of Azrael. I'll just kind of wipe it on there. And we have 2 cards out already. Let me shuffle one more cut shuffle. If a third one doesn't come out, I will pick the one off the top. It's kind of important not to look at your cards while you shuffle. That makes it easier for things to fly out if you fat finger things. All right. So let's just take these in order here. We have the 7 rings of the dwarves, the forest of Mirkwood again, and Shelob's lair. Shelob's lair. Shelob, whatever. All right, so the 7 rings of the dwarves. Let's look there first. Back. Good grief. Okay, there's the 9 rings. Here's the 7 rings. We stand in a dark cave. Materializing before us, we see 7 rings, each mounted with a different rainbow-colored stone. We're fascinated with the beauty and strength that emanate from these precious artifacts and find ourselves reaching forward to take them for ourselves. The esoteric meaning. The dwarven rings were made by Sauron and the elves and given by Sauron as gifts to each of the dwarven lords. When Sauron forged the Great Ring and attempted to control them, he became enraged at his inability to subjugate their fiercely independent spirit. Personal indications. Gifts offered, but the need to use caution. All is not what it seems. The need to believe little of what you see and less of what you hear. Be guarded about what you take on board. Trojan horse scenarios possible. Well, this sounds very similar to Mirkwood. So it goes beyond that in not just, we need to be careful and stick to the path ahead, but this is talking about gifts, about something being offered to you that needs to be questioned, that you need to really consider, do I want to take this? Do I want to accept this? I'm not sure what that gift would be. Believe little of what you see, less of what you hear. So I guess, really plugging your ears during this election cycle, so we're not prone to the gifts of actual fake news and stuff from Russian bots. Did we learn our lesson in 2016? And then we had Mirkwood, so I'm not going to go over that again. And then let's go to Shelob's lair and see. And then I also have to look up, because the cards are not in any specific order. They're not in alphabetical order. They have no numbers, so we just have to look them up. Shelob's lair. It tells me the number of the card. It doesn't tell me the page it's on. Editors, I think this is down to an editor's bad decisions. Why, when you give an index of the cards, would you not show what page they're on? Let me see if there's a contents page, because I didn't actually look at that. A mystical pack with Middle Earth cards, map and ring, divination, revelation. We don't actually have a table of contents. So there is no way to just find out and go quickly to where the card is. You just got to flip through until you find it. We look from a cave entrance into a huge, dark, slimy web. By the light of the lamp we carry, we can see various bodies encased within it. Their faces are frozen, seemingly in mid-scream. On entering the cave, our nostrils are assaulted by the stench of evil. We stumble and our hands become caught up in the web before us. Something begins shuffling toward us. We are frozen with terror when we see two great clusters of eyes glowing through the darkness. The creature begins to emit a terrifying, bubbling, creaking sound. Gosh, did any of that ring your bell? Esoteric meaning, confrontation with your fears is an inevitable stage of everyone's journey. This may be either a single event or a more drawn-out process. It is as inevitable as birth itself. Frodo brings out the phial of light which has been given to him by Galadriel. It is this that dazzles the monster Shelob. Rage gives Sam the courage to strike her with his weapon in her soft underbelly and her eyes. Okay. Personal indications, a period of encountering significant and formidable opposition. The need for quick thinking and to use every available and relevant piece of knowledge. Solidarity with friends, comradeship, strategic and specific strikes against opposing forces. Wow. Okay, so through these times, we are going to be confronted with the things that we fear the most. And I'm trying not to get too topical with unboxings, but it's been fairly impossible so far. So I'll just stick with it where we're at. We could be going through historic and never before seen times in the aftermath of the coming election. And this can be bringing up a lot of fears for all of us, imagining what's going on. And I have actually kind of gotten used to the daily onslaught during the election process, that I'm kind of numbing out to it. It's like, okay, we're sort of coasting right now until we get to the actual election day and the aftermath of that. Threats are already flying from Proud Boys. In my mind, we're going to find out how few there are of them in the aftermath. They are not the majority, ever. They never have been. Please, please, please remember that. So one of the things that we need to do, I think, is confront whatever our biggest fear is of what happens after Election Day. Biggest fear, Trump wins. Second biggest fear, he doesn't win and it's challenged, which I think the best advice that I can give you, and that this is talking about, is confront those fears and just plan for those things actually happening. That it's going to be contested, that I don't think he's going to win. I think Biden's going to win by a landslide. But the contesting is certainly going to happen, and get yourself adjusted to that. It's the plan for the worst, expect the best tactic. So confront those fears right now. That big what if. Look it head on. Look it in the face. And then this is talking about the need for quick thinking and to use every available and relevant piece of knowledge. So you have to know that as we speak, senators, representatives, Democrats, Republicans that haven't lost their fucking minds are already looking at what do we do afterwards. There is intensive work going on right now for contingency plans, for digging into the Constitution, digging into precedent, digging into everything and saying, what tools do we have to deal with these things when they happen? All right. So know that there's a lot of planning going on ahead of time. And then this part, solidarity with friends, comradeship. You've got to look to your group of people. You've got to reach out to people and talk about how you're feeling, name those fears, get some support. That is really crucial. And then strategic and specific strikes against opposing forces. Choose your actions. Number one, vote. And the strategy for how you're going to accomplish that. We're going to go early. I wanted to wait till the rush went down. There's still lines. I think this is going to be historic in terms of the number of people turning out in this election. So, but other strategic and specific strikes like, if you have money to contribute to races, looking at what races are close, even if they're not in your state, and throwing some support in that direction. So those are all good things, but the three that I've taken here really does address that we're in this very dark period. It doesn't offer an answer on the other side, unfortunately, I'm going to close my eyes and do this. All right. So let me make sure you can see it. Get this out of the way. All right. Be still. Still. Please tell me, will Joe Biden win the election? All right, show me yes. I forgot to do that. This is why I don't use pendulums. Show me yes. Very slight. Show me no. This is why I don't use pendulums, you guys. I've done it before with a pendulum that has a bead at the top. I think that's a better thing to have. I've got this flat ribbon, and I think it is a little too controllable. So I'm not going to mess with that anymore. Let's ask Socrates instead. Socrates, what's your opinion today? I need a serious answer. Serious as a fucking heart attack here. Don't give me any bullshit, Socrates. Will Joe Biden win this election?
Shit. Are you fucking crazy?
He's been giving me, why not? Why the hell not? And are you crazy? So he's avoided giving me a straight yes or no so far. Thanks, Socks. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that. It's a very interesting oracle. I think it would take a lot of fine-tuning and a lot of work with it to see how it actually, will work to get some answers in the combinations and to make the pendulum work and to figure out what the map's all about. And, the places there are repeated in the cards, so what's the point of that? And I know that since I got it, I haven't gotten it out and worked with it a lot because it never quite hit in the beginning. But I was asking for just one more to leave you with here, and we got the Shire, which I do know is the very first card. We see the winding, so hopefully this is something to send you away with. We see the road winding toward the horizon with hills on either side. It's shortly after dawn. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole description. A sense of growth and harmonious development in all areas of life. Freedom, choices open to us, the fulfillment of our expectations. The relative isolation of the Shire protected it from many of the harmful influences at work in Middle-earth during the successive wars. It was also protected by its own cultural independence. There's a sense of community here. Everyone belongs. This card is directing you to look at what connects you to your ancestry. In your roots, you will find the direction you need to take in the future. Conditions of harmony and mutual respect, a sense of dynamic balance and interaction. Positive conditions for the attainment of any given objective decided upon. So there's a really positive one to send you off with. And I am going to segue from that into talking about community on my Discord. Please go to the link below and jump on. Sign up for Discord. I'm just getting started. There's only a couple people, but you can get in and become part of the community. On the general text channel, please feel free. I think I'll probably set one up as a text Q&A. I'm going to wait until Mercury turns direct again before I actually schedule any chat events on Discord, but once I do, I'd like to know what you're interested in chatting about. Astrology, tarot, Buddhism, witchcraft, obviously, but if there are some specific things that you really would like answers to, let me know down below or jump on Discord and let me know there. There's also a link to my Patreon. If you're interested in supporting my channel, please join. There is also an Amazon wish list, and as you saw in my unboxing yesterday, I got another gift, and you can be one of those great gifters. You can send me a deck, and I will read for you from that deck on my unboxing. It's just still, and probably always will be, mind-blowing that somebody's thinking about me, and I look out my door and go, oh my God, I didn't order anything, and it's a present. It's just stunning, incredible. And I thank you for it so much. I hope you're having a wonderful day and that you are wearing a mask and keeping yourself safe and healthy. I will be back tomorrow for another unboxing, and I will see you Wednesday night for live readings for the signs. Until then, take good care of yourselves. This is the Zen Witch. Blessed be.